Hey, everyone. We'll get back to your regularly scheduled programming, and by that, I just mean this show in a few minutes. Wanted to let you know that Thursday, December 15th, is going to be our last regular show of the year, and then Monday, December 19th, will be a Christmas special where we do some of the Crowder Gives Back. We found some families in need, and if you're looking for something political, it's not then. It's just supposed to be something to enjoy before Christmas, where we do what we can here with your support from Mug Club to help those in need. And if you know someone around your neck of the woods right now, just to do what you can. Give what you can, whether it's your time, whether it's your resources. There's some people who need some help this time of year, and it's a great time to do it, and it's a great time to start that habit. And thank you so much. That's why we're able to do it here at Mug Club, which also brings me to something else. This Thursday, we will be making some major announcements. Big news, good news regarding Mug Club and its developments as we go into the new year. Some big changes we're excited about, and changes, of course, that you have made possible. And, obviously, hopefully all great news. Right, Blaze? So we'll announce that on Thursday, December 15th, our last show before the Christmas special on Monday, December 19th. Enjoy the show.
This is nice.
Yeah, we don't do this enough.
I know, we used to do this all the time, remember?
God, it's just nice to get out of the house.
Here they come! Run for your lives! No, we're just here to... Jeez.
This happens all the time.
I know, nonstop, probably because someone had to show up in full skeleton makeup.
That's not fair. You guys used to do the same thing.
Yeah, 120 years ago.
It was a fashion thing back then. It was different. People were doing the skeleton look.
Yeah, 700 AD called. They want you to get a new thing.
Hey, guys, what do you think about doing matching cloaks?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, like a club.
Yeah, I can make patches, see how we like them.
Just make sure it's not a three-piece rocker. I don't want anyone thinking we're in a gang.
No, that won't help at all.
Freaking Crusaders had to ruin that one for the rest of us.
Yeah, that ship sailed a while ago.
Hey, no, don't panic. We're just here to get... See, you can't talk with these people.
Get used to it.
New normal's here, guys.
Maybe for you.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Here we go.
All I'm saying, at a certain point, what you get isn't worth what you do.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, we all had to make changes.
Not this shit again.
Look, forget about it. Forget I said anything.
You don't think it's because we have hell following with us, do you?
Doesn't help.
Oh, glad to be with you as I just was then, but now I have headphones on.
Yay.
That's the difference. That's how you know it's a cold open versus not, is the headphones. And chat, I hear you out there. Just, simmer down. We'll be talking about this Thursday. No, that's YouTube comment. That's not the same as chat. The speaker's not on it? No, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting a weird echo on my headphones. Glad to be with you. It is one of those days. I don't have a hot shower. It's not possible. It's now going on 3-4 days at my house, and I have a shower here in the office for emergency. That also, the water heater does not work. I should have hot shower money.
You should.
Yeah, that's all I want is a water. What is it? People say the tankless. What? Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but it's been cold showers for 7 days. But you know what? I don't know. We'll see if that actually helps. Some people swear by it. Okay, a lot to get to today. A lot of you may not be able to, sort of parse the Twitter dumps that have been taking place. There was one on Friday, obviously after our last show, and then there was another one just yesterday, I believe. They called them Twitter dumps 3 and 4. We're going to give you the ins and outs, everything you need to know. Of course, all the references are available at louderwithcrowder.com, but specifically contrasting how they apply their rules, how they did apply their rules for many, many years to one political group versus the other. You don't live in a free country if you have a country with laws. It's whether the laws are applied equally. And of course, as we've discussed, big tech far more powerful than government at this point. This is what libertarians could not plan for, as seen by the fact that a few people in a back room got rid of a sitting president. So we'll talk about that. Elon Musk has called out Fauci. He's also discussed, prosecuting Fauci, which people say social media isn't real life. Well, it is if it brings criminal charges. And we'll also get into some predictions that we made last week that have come true, because that's always fun. All right, you can comment below as to what you think is most pertinent from the Twitter files. Before we get into it, pause it if you're watching the archive, and then come back to it and then see if we match up. Gerald A., how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, getting over a little sickness.
You're not over the sickness. You're still
deep.
sick.
I should do some voice work right now.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Strike while the iron's hot kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I would call your voice, a hot iron.
Monkeypox.
Yep.
It's not.
Hey, that went away.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
know,
was the
right?
next emergency. Like, who could have thought? Wait,
Oh, no.
you mean just not have just not engage in unprotected sodomy with strangers at a Norwegian tech music festival?
Well, that seems easy enough.
Well,
How will I live?
That worked.
How are you? Other than not
I'm
getting
okay.
hot water
Impossible.
again.
I just really wish I had some hot water.
My
that's all.
plan continues to work.
It is
Definitely
on-
Gerald's fault.
I don't know what happened. First water heater went out, then the second, and I was like, you know what? Just give me one of those tankless water heaters.
Well, I recommended. You said, wait, I'm sorry. You can have unending hot water.
I had never heard of it before.
Like, yeah.
But now I've still never used it successfully. And you know him, you love him, fastest man on his feet. You can follow him on the Twitter. Mr. Dave Landau, how are you, sir?
ahoy! I'm not bad. How about you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Have you read all the Twitter files?
I've looked through some of them. I've not read them all.
No, of course you haven't.
No.
It took me a very long time to go through it, and it's awful.
Yeah, it's really something. And Fauci, great guy.
Yes,
Great guy.
the Twitter files are a pride-swallowing siege
Yes.
that I will never fully tell you about.
It's horrifying.
Name that movie line. But you know what? You know what's going to perk you right up?
What's that?
This first clip that we have.
Ooh.
So before we get into anything else, it's a short clip, but you know we just want to feel good because it's Christmas. It's the season
Yeah.
for Yuletide joy,
Yes.
especially if it involves a reindeer. Let's watch.
I began to pass out.
I know what you're thinking. Please tell me this ends the way it does.
Then my head hit the wall.
Yeah, it does.
Ow.
I know. Oh, poor girl. I have a general rule with nature: don't get near it. Don't try and screw with it. And even if they decide to take it upon themselves, and by that I mean any animals in God's kingdom, to approach me, the answer is still no.
Oh, the horns aren't to help guide it fly?
Exactly. This is a lady who would say, trust the science. Do you see those calcium deposits on its head? You know why those exist?
To
could
hurt
impale
you.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I saw a Pixar film. Let's watch it one more time.
No,
Yeah, it's
One more time.
watch this Disney princess.
Let's see how it
I
ends
began
up.
to pass out. Then my head hit
Can-
the wall.
Oh, ginger down.
Can you see with all the voices of the mountain? Paint with all the colors of your hemorrhage.
Yes. I hope she's all right.
Yes. By that I mean I hope she learned her lesson. So out
Yes.
there, just don't. I'm not even comfortable around petting zoos.
No, I don't like anything like that. I only want domesticated animals.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Have you been to Park Safari? It's where you would drive through. I think they have them in the States. You drive through the zoo,
Yeah.
and they would come up to your car.
It's a bad idea.
My brother was bitten by a zebra. We had to
Yeah,
take him to the
really?
emergency room. Yes.
I saw The Great Outdoors with John Candy where the bears get all over the car. That's all I need to
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
I don't want to go near these places.
Wonderful rubber butt on that bear.
That's true.
All right. Bart the bear. It's Bart the bear. Bart? That was Bart the famous grizzly bear. Okay.
When the bear attacked the news anchor, did you see that one? It's one of my favorite clips ever.
There was a bear at a Dairy Queen drive-through, grizzly bear, I think in Wyoming, that just took their stuff.
Well, you get whatever you want when you're a bear.
I know.
Yeah, it's a free pass.
Yeah, it is.
Have you ever watched bears fight? Guys, I'm sure we can watch this on Mug Club. If you watch bears fight, they have zero cardio.
Yeah.
They're like, they fight for about 30 seconds, and
okay,
then one
hold
is
on.
actually holding a tree, like, and the other bear doesn't attack him because he's just equally out of shape.
Yeah.
But these are animals that will eat a beehive.
Yes.
Like that's
Knowing full well it's going to hurt like hell.
yeah.
I feel a rumbly in my tumbly, time for something sweet. You're dead. The inside of your stomach is Macaulay Culkin's casket and My Girl.
Yes.
Congratulations, Pooh Bear. Okay. Elon Musk. This is a great one. We're going to get into the Twitter files, but Sunday he teased what was going to be release of the Twitter files, and this is just a gem. He tweeted out, Elon Musk, my pronouns are prosecute /Fauci. Boy, that was fast. Oh, we have Square Bear on overlay sake. Come on, bring that up. Collage A3. Bring it up, Square Bear. Come on, Roger Dodger. Collage A3.
It just went away.
There you go.
There you
It's like he was teasing the audience. And then someone asked him, will this be explained in the new Twitter files part? And Elon simply replied, yes. And then he explained Fauci lied to Congress and funded gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome IMO, which of course stands for, in my opinion, for people who are not familiar with the nomenclature. We are.
Good job.
I like that.
We're hip.
Appreciate that explanation.
We speak Twitter jive. So
I thought it stood for I might observe.
And this is one of those things where people will say, "I'm just tired. I just shut off the social media. I just shut off the news. Just go live your life." And I understand that you do need to unplug sometimes. But here's the deal: when people say Twitter, social media isn't real life, of course, if you're just talking about some anonymous egg saying, "Well, I'll kick your ass," that's not real life.
Right.
However, you don't just get to shut it off if these people are colluding to remove sitting presidents, to change not only public perception, but perhaps, let me be very careful here, the procedures regarding voting in defiance of their state constitutions. If these people are committing crimes, guess what? That's still the real world. I don't care if you committed the crime via snail mail, telegram, carrier pigeon, or Twitter. It's a crime. So people out there who say, I just want to shut it off. I get that it's exhausting. Guess what? Life is exhausting. Life is struggle. You have to fight back every single day. It's a battle of inches until the end. What else would you do? Roll over and die? I'm sorry that it's annoying. I'm sorry you live in a time where the fight is hard. Don't roll over and die.
Yeah, and by the way, what they want you to do is to shut it off just long enough for them to have their way.
Exactly.
Right? They just want you to pay attention to other stuff just long enough.
Yes.
That's all they need.
Well, they want a
you to
Burger
leave
King.
it- yeah, they want you to leave it on while they kill millions of people.
Yes. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Election theft kind of upsets us.
Yes.
Have it your way.
Fauci King.
It's okay because it's in a limerick, you two. What are you going to do? You're going to take that seriously? Now, I'm in a mood.
You are.
I just had a conversation with a very expensive lawyer as to, oh, don't say this. You know what? I'm going to say. So remember, these were all points, by the way, when we're talking about Fauci that Dr. Rand Paul made before Congress. And if the Twitter files, as they continue to be released, are verified, meaning if our intelligence agencies actually give a crap, as opposed to like the Hunter Biden laptop where the FBI just ignored it when they raided Giuliani's house. Fauci actually, with Rand Paul, lied about it on the record. That's a crime in Congress regarding exactly this. Here's a refresher.
Even the NIH now admits that EcoHealth Alliance did perform experiments in Wuhan that created viruses not found in nature that actually did gain in lethality.
Senator, with all due respect, I disagree with so many of the things that you've said.
EcoHealth Alliance took the virus SHC014 and combined it with WIV1 and caused a recombinant virus that doesn't exist in nature, and it made mice sicker, mice that had humanized cells. You're saying that that's not gain-of-function research?
According to the framework and guidelines.
So what you're doing is defining away gain-of-function. No. You're simply saying it doesn't exist because you changed the definition on the NIH website. A preponderance of evidence now points towards this coming from the lab, and what you've done is change the definition on your website to try to cover your ass, basically.
That's completely incorrect.
I have no ass.
You say we continue to support research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
You proved it in August of last year.
I have a great deal of respect for this body of the Senate, and it makes me very uncomfortable to have to say something, but he is egregiously incorrect in what he says.
They're wearing two masks.
History will figure that out on its own.
Hey, I don't give a shit if you have respect for that. How about respect for the American people? You need to start, everyone here needs to start rethinking the way you look at government. They are your employees. All of them. All of them. You pay their salary. Unfortunately, anywhere else where you have employees, right, they have a duty to you if you pay their salary. Or, of course, they have a duty to the customers if the customers obviously purchase goods or services, which ultimately leads to paying their salaries. You pay for them. You pay their salaries. But instead, they answer to special interests. Instead, they answer to big pharmaceutical companies, as we saw with the mRNA vaccine. Instead, they answer to international lobbyists who have no interest in American sovereignty. You pay their salaries, but they don't answer to you. I respect this body. We don't respect your body. We don't respect your frail little 5'2" body.
That cannot even throw a baseball.
No, he can't.
Or whatever it is.
Think about that. This, nowhere else. You pay their salary, but they have no accountability as it relates to you.
Yeah.
That is Fauci. And by the way, wasn't even elected. Wasn't even elected. And you pay his salary. Here's something else that's relevant as these Twitter files keep coming on down the pike. The Pfizer CEO, I want to make sure I get his name right, Albert Bourla, by the way, announced he was stepping down along with what he thought about the mRNA vaccines.
I was surprised when they suggested to me that this is the way to go. And I questioned it, and I asked them to justify it. How can you say something like that? But they came and they were very, very convinced that this is the right way to go. They felt that the 2 years of work on mRNA since 2018, together with BioNTech, to develop a flu vaccine, made them believe that the technology is mature and we are at the cusp of delivering a product. So they convinced me. I follow my instinct that they know what they're saying. They're very good.
We need to find some clips of that guy out there touting it before.
Yeah.
Like, this is great. We know it works. And now he's like, they convinced me because I am stupid.
Yes. I was simply what you call scared.
Yes.
So I agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I agreed. I did not ask for receipts.
Yes. Very tiny man scared the crap out of me.
Yes, that's true.
Named Fauci.
But it was not because of tiny man, but because of big black man he had next to him looked like Suge Knight on steroids.
Yes. He says to me, say what again?
And I not say anything. He asked me if they speak English in what? I was talking to translator. Not make sense.
Very scared.
Hey, by the way, you know you can't take these people seriously when everybody on Twitter that hates Elon Musk now, for some odd reason he's showing people the truth and they hate him for it, is saying, oh, you're inciting people to violence against the LGBTQ AAIP plus community because you have your pronouns like this. You're making fun of this. And he is just... He has no shits left to give. Pardon my language. He is just absolutely over all of this. He's like, wokeism has to die. His tweets right now are incredible.
Yeah, they're on fire.
He is absolutely, and he's doing the right thing. He is going right into the teeth of it.
Well, here it's a perfect contrast to that. What's his name? Bourla.
Yeah.
Perfect contrast to Bourla, who had to come out and do the bidding right of the mRNA vaccine with Pfizer. And now he's saying, "Hey, I was wrong or I was misled." Is what he's saying. He had access to information, and he was uncomfortable, and he had to come out and lie anyway. Elon Musk has access to information. He's only released some of it. He knows what he has in these Twitter files, and he's very emboldened. That's what you need to watch for. Hey, hold on a second. What information does he have that we don't have, and why does he feel so bold? I can guess. By the way, hit the like button if you're pretty happy about seeing these developments, and if you would like to see Fauci obviously prosecuted, because, hey, you know what? Guess what? The algorithms say we're dead here on YouTube. And by the way, it's a morning show, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. You can watch it here on Rumble. Nothing would make me happier than you heading on over to Rumble right now. Okay.
I also think, though, real quick with Elon, he's releasing a little bit at a time because you don't want anything to get lost.
Yeah.
I mean, he does just have to put out, because there's going to be a lot.
Well, not only that, but that man right there, Andrew Breitbart, who was the first person who ever posted any of my content to any right-leaning websites, he started that. He did it with Acorn. He did it with Anthony Weiner because he gave the media the opportunity to do what they do and accuse him of lying. And he let them walk right into a trap. That is what Elon is doing right now.
Yeah.
That's what happened. If you don't remember, I'll talk about it again. Anthony Weiner, he had prepared a press conference to come out and say that Andrew Breitbart was lying and someone had fabricated a story and it was untrue, and this was the right-wing echo chamber, until Andrew Breitbart took that podium like a boss and said, I have the pictures and I didn't release them for the sake of his family. Clear my name. Anthony Weiner had to change his speech to an apology. That's why you hold back a little bit of information. Which brings me to my next segment, actually, before we get into the Twitter files, which will be a little bit nerdy. So last week we discussed Brittany Griner, right, as that story broke in real time. We also discussed Kanye West and Milo, Nick Fuentes, what was going on right there, and made some predictions, which brings us to a new segment called Called It.
I said I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right past the flagpole. Well, good Lord, must have been with me.
Now, look, I don't say this to toot our horn here.
Right.
Someone tried to correct me and say it was tout your own horn the other day.
Tout?
Why would you tout a horn?
I don't need to tout.
No, you don't, it already works. You just have a horn. You toot it.
I have a horn, and all I do is toot it.
Yes, exactly. Well, you don't even have a car.
No. The horn didn't work.
Right.
I was trying to tout it, and I got in an accident.
Yes. I was also trying to tout while texting and driving.
Yes.
I'm not a woman. I can't multitask.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So this isn't just to toot our own horn. It's when we don't make predictions a lot on this show. Just so you know, it's by the time you see a prediction that we make, it's been filtered through, as Gerald often says, I would like to comfortably bet far more than $1.
Yes.
It's like Elon Musk with the Twitter files, where there's some information that I often might have access to that maybe you don't, that I can't reveal at that moment in time. You watch, we're not in that business of like Newt Gingrich or Frank Luntz, where they make, or Dick Morris, where he's always wrong. So we do make a couple, and last week, it's almost shocking. So this brings us to the Griner story, okay? I don't know if you remember this, but this happened Thursday, to refresh your memory. Biden decided to bring home America-hating Brittany Griner in exchange for the Merchant Odette, instead of the Marine Paul Whelan, which they have discussed now on Russian television. This is just to set up the story real quick.
Разведчик. Ну, для нас он шпион, для них он разведчик, то есть герой. Он морпех, он увешан орденами. У него одна проблема, две. Проблема первая – 3. Проблема первая – он белый. Вторая – он мужчина. Третья – он, судя по всему, все-таки гетеро. Даже этого сейчас вообще не прощают. Это катастрофа.
Arigato means thank you. That's my favorite one. But 1, 2, 3 is Russian. Did you learn that Japanese in the
I did not.
Sesame?
No.
Is 1, 2, 3 is ichi ni san. In Russia, it's just 1, 2, 3. That sounds very similar.
Because after 3, you die.
Yes.
No one's ever.
There is no 4.
No one's got to your 4.
Multiplication flashcards,
Yes.
we don't need. That is for weak homosexual Americans.
Yes.
So this brings us to what happened on Thursday. Dave wasn't here, but we called it on Thursday. And we actually called it as a joke, where I kind of gave you my read on the situation as far as how the Russians would react. And some of you were upset because you thought I was saying this, but I wasn't saying this. I was saying that this is what the Russians would say. This was last Thursday on this show. Then we'll get you exactly what they're saying today. Thursday.
It's the Saudi Crown Prince and the UAE.
How'd you get my number?
Well, we're trying to make the United States look really stupid. You want to play along?
How do I do that?
Just release the WNBA player.
Wait, you mean a lesbian with tattoos who's addicted to marriage, Aiden?
Right. It's going to make him look really stupid, and guess what you're going to get? Lord of War.
Not the Merchant of Death!
The very same
They're going to bring him back to me?
Good.
Oh, man, I was having a bad week shitting my pants and stomach cancer falling off asshole, but this is mad boy. Never interrupt your enemy when he's making mistake, huh? Okay. I should send former Vice President Biden to Tiff Streets.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll send the paperwork.
He's more of a Sherry's Berries guy.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Laughing at you. And really, the prediction was made because of all the resources that you provide and support with Mug Club. So this is really more so you. You nailed it. Because I like it. Here's what that was kind of a joke, but not really. Here's what the Russia Today editor-in-chief, Margarita Simonyan, however I say it. Margarita, you wouldn't expect that for a Russian name. I have no idea. Daiquiri Simonyan had to say only a couple hours later, the very same day. It's not our transcript. She said this.
Как может американскому избирателю дали выбор? Герой, пострадавший на службе Отечеству. Он же по службе пострадал. Герой, увешанный орденами, пострадавший за то, что он работал на свою родину, на США. Или чернокожая лесбиянка, наркозависимая, пострадавшая за какой-то вейп с гашишем.
For those listening, she says, or black lesbian addicted to drugs. Now, for people who were mad last week saying marijuana is not addictive. Oh, wait. The point is that you missed it. I was saying that's what the Russians would say because Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, was saying she's the best among us. If that is our ambassador, think about it. You know who our ambassadors were during World War II? And by the way, it wasn't just white guys. Joe Louis. You had Jesse Owens, just to give you an example. These were the people we said, these are the best among us here in the United States. I'm not talking about, we obviously took a while to get to full civil rights. Don't mistake what I'm saying. What I'm saying is...
2 reefer addicts?
Yes. Well, if you have to look at the best that America has to offer, our representatives, the people who are paid by your tax dollars, you pay their salary, said Brittany Griner is the best among us when there's a Marine sitting there who's not being, would it be extracted, What would be the term? Who's not being rescued?
Rescued, yeah.
And they are laughing at us.
And by the way, that was not just some random person on RT. That was the editor-in-chief,
of course,
of RT who was making that point for us.
Yes, exactly. And this brings us to it. So you can comment
but guys,
below.
The economy is pretty bad right now, and what are we going to do without the WNBA?
Yes, exactly. That's true.
We need the money.
Well, we need the write-off.
There's still a thing.
Right.
Yes. It's more of a deduction, really.
Yeah.
So the government can say, we have no profit this year. Look how much we dumped into the WNBA is this sinkhole.
Yeah, I mean,
they should have to. The men should have to split their. Listen, as long as you're going to stand side by side with the WNBA and say they should be a league just as much. Okay, here's the deal: you have to play by the same terms as women's soccer and men's soccer. You have to split your salaries with them. Let's see how much of a league you think they should be when it costs you money. Well, NBA players, LeBron James.
Name me a WNBA player who's not Brittany Griner. Comment below. Go. No. Time's up. You lose. So here it brings us to another one.
You could have given them 2 hours.
I hate that I know one.
I could have said, we'll take your answers on Mug Club. Oh, we'll be playing Hate Symbol or Not on Mug Club. Woo. This brings us to another, and some people were upset. Now, again, understand that when we make these predictions, it means we're fairly confident. So this is another one that we called last week, and you helped us make this call last week. Remember the episode on Kanye where I said that Kanye West, or Ye, was being used, and Milo specifically was using Ye to potentially, my read on the situation with the dinner, and this is how fast news moves. It was the entire news cycle last Monday and Tuesday, and now you forget about it. Why? Because we find out that what we were presented wasn't exactly true and isn't as damaging to President Trump as we had hoped it would be. But I said last week, did I say
you said we?
We. I'm saying I was speaking from the perspective of media, as we hoped it would be, meaning media. So they said we better move on. I told you then that it really likely wasn't a story that was significant because people like Milo and other people who were at that dinner were using Ye to make Trump look bad. That was the prediction. Kanye West, did he know or did he not know? But I think it would be pretty clear as to Milo Yiannopoulos' motives goading to Mar-a-Lago and goading Kanye West at this point. Kanye West is being, I believe, used as a pawn again, and you guys shouldn't be championing it because he says a couple of things that you like. So Kanye West has brought in someone like Milo and someone like Nick Fuentes. Now, the motivations there do matter. If you're a conservative, right? Let's say you like Donald Trump. Let's say you like Ron DeSantis. It doesn't really matter because these people, I would argue, want to destroy all of it. They don't want the conservative movement. They don't want Republicans to do well. They certainly don't want Trump to do well. There is a personal vendetta against Donald Trump with these individuals. So he brought these individuals to Mar-a-Lago, which was not vetted by Donald Trump, which I think was foolish. Yeah. I don't think you should let anyone in there and sit down with them for dinner. If their goal was to actually basically inflict damage on Donald Trump, well, then it's been incredibly effective because it's been a media cycle now for 3 days. A lot of you were mad because you maybe liked some things that Kanye had to say. And by the way, these are two separate issues. Here's where you nailed it. 3 hours later, NBC, they didn't use that same point. They spoke with Milo Yiannopoulos, and this Milo said that's what he did. He said, quote, that he set up the dinner just to make Trump's life miserable because he knew he would mishandle it. And he said that he wanted to show him that the people who put him in office, the kind of behavior from Trump, meaning would come back to bite him. So he set it up, quote, just to make Trump's life miserable. Kanye West, Ye was used. He was used. We talk just because you like some of the things that he says, and he's going up against the grain, and I respect that. You know, your enemies, the woke people, you still can't overlook the fact that he's being exploited by people. And I will tell you that happens in this movement all the time. We need to do better, and you all and we all need to do better in calling it out when we see it, because someone like Kanye West, probably further down the trail, could be an educated individual. But when you see someone being used, you got to help them.
Yeah.
Here's another one that we called here last week regarding Kanye West. Ye, sorry, the dead naming. Just you get it. Kanye West. If I say Ye, you wouldn't really know.
No, I don't. I don't go for
You're like,
the
is he
Ye.
celebrating?
It just
I don't
sounds
think
like
it's dead naming either.
No, of course
No,
isn't.
Yeah, I think,
Thanks for clarifying.
I think his birth certificate says. I don't know what it says.
Probably Lyle.
Yeah, sure it's Franklin.
So here we were in that same episode mentioning that Kanye West was being used by people in his circle at that very moment. That was the call. So here's the thing. Kanye West was wronged. He was used. Here's the thing. He's being used now. So there are a couple different theories as to what's been going. And this is just, some of this is going to be speculation. Hopefully I can present a case to you as to why. And here's where all of you helped us nail it. I really didn't like that. Right after that debacle, Milo hit Ye with a $116,000 bill for 3 days of work as campaign manager, which led to him being fired. Now, here's the deal. I don't know if Ye wanted to make Trump look bad, which also...
That's one hell of a rate.
Right.
What does that include?
And then you'll have someone like Milo go out and complain about grifters.
Yeah.
When they make it their entire branding to complain, there are some grifters out there. Some grifters who do need, there are some people who are exploiting people out there who need to be named. Someone like this charging a $116,000 bill for 3 days of work. And by the way, I don't know that Kanye West knew that Milo and Nick Fuentes wanted to just make Trump look bad. He might have gone in there with altruistic, genuine intent, just to be clear. So it still proves the point. He was being used by people who saw an opportunity. He needs your prayers. He needs your help. He doesn't need your cheers as other people try and run him into the ground and squeeze him for every last penny. We need to do better.
Yeah.
Hit the like button if you kind of see that. Because we got a lot of flack. People saying you should support him. I was like, no. You want to support? Right now, you're not supporting him. Right now, you're putting money in the pockets and control into these handlers. You don't want a Britney Spears situation.
No, and when it's obvious like that, and it was very obvious what was going on here, right? Milo's past and his comments about Donald Trump were out there for people to have seen. Like, he did not like Donald Trump. He said he was going to get his revenge on him for not taking care of him, for all the work that he did. And then for him and a guy like Nick Fuentes to end up on that kind of ticket, so to speak, you knew what was going on. And so just saying, hey, don't support them, that's 100% right. Go a step further. Have the balls like we did to go, no. This is somebody being used right now. I'm not just going to not say, okay, I won't support this. I'm going to say, stop using people, because this is obviously what's going on here. You have to call it out every single time.
Yeah. Well, you recognize it when it's happened with you.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you recognize it. When people look, it's a story as old as time. You reach some level of success. You have people who try and get their claws in. And I really do hope that Ye does better for himself. But yeah, I would think that counts as using him to try and make Trump look bad, and then charging him $116,000.
It's quite a bill.
It is, yeah.
It's what did you do for me? Well, I made everyone think you're a Nazi.
Yes.
That will be 116 clams.
Yes. You can pay in shekels.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
I gotta calculate the tip. Someone get me in ethnicity that I can't say. Jew.
But you said it.
Did you see that when he said that one time? He was on with Lex Friedman. He's like, I can't say the ethnicity, though. I know I'm not supposed to say it. He's a Jew.
It took him 2 seconds. Nobody even asked a follow-up.
It's like you didn't have to say it. All right.
It's $5 for every time you said something bad about the Jews.
Yeah. And Kanye's filing for bankruptcy.
Yes.
And this is the thing: if the handlers get to say, "Hey, it's the Jews,"
right?
You don't see that they're using you now.
That's just sad.
That's the problem. It's them. It's them out there using you. And by the way, I'm not saying that Kanye West has never been abused by someone who happens to be Jewish. We can't discount that. I'm sure that's happened. I'm sure he's also been taken advantage of by people who aren't Jewish, but you have people around him saying, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, $116,000, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. Let's use him to make Donald Trump look bad. It's the Jews, it's the Jews. That's where you don't drink all that Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And we make all the references available at louderwithcutter.com. So that's important as we go into something which could be nerdy, could be tough to digest. So we're going to try and simplify this for you, give you everything you know, give you everything you need to know. Right now I'm speaking too quickly. I'll breathe. So over the weekend, we had the newest batches of the Twitter files.
Yes.
Of the Twitter files released by journalists Matt Taibbi and Michael Schlesinger and Clark W. Grisman. I should have talked about this on the show on Thursday. It fell between the seats. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Name that movie line. So, the files... they showed us how Twitter executives, led by the, quote, head of trust and safety, a guy named Yoel Roth, who, by the way, will do a full deep dive onto this guy tomorrow because there's a lot more there just on Yoel Roth.
Yeah.
And how they applied their rules to shadow ban accounts. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to go through this to give you an example of how they applied the rules with conservatives versus leftists, because a lot of conservatives out there have complained. now it's confirmed. And this is what the left will do, is they paint themselves as, this is so important, the dynamic. They go, we're victims. Why? Because we're trans. We're victims. Why? Because we're black. We're victims. Why? Because we're women. Then they throttle everyone, and then they blame the actual victim, going, hold on a second. Wait. I'm not being allowed to speak freely. Oh, what? Are you a snowflake? They try and use, are you triggered? No. We're not triggered. We're just supporting freedom across the board, including for you to be an asshole.
How dare you?
Which you're succeeding at wonderfully.
With big tech, it's only gone one way. Yeah. Before you get into voting, before you get into machines, it's enough. What happened with big tech is enough to affect not only the outcome of this election, every election thereafter, unless something is done about it. And now we have the receipts. We've had our own receipts for our own channels, for our own platforms, but now you have it across the board. So let's give you an example of how it was applied to conservatives. Where's it here? My right?
You're right. There you go.
There we go. My right, your left. Upstage, downstage. I have a theater. I know some of the theater terminology. Okay. Ooh. So that's let's go through what happened with conservatives. So Twitter labeled this tweet by Donald Trump as misleading. His tweet was, big problems and discrepancies with mail-in ballots all over the USA. Must have final total on November 3rd. I love how he writes like shorthand as he would with his employees. Like, as opposed to, hey, we really need to. Must have final total. Right. No 3.
No 3.
So Yoel Roth, who we just discussed, decided that they should mark the tweet, meaning label this tweet as misleading or misinformation, but didn't even know on what grounds. And this is what is important. They're looking for a way to apply a rule to conservatives.
Yeah.
Even when they don't have it. And when they have it clear as day in front of them, they don't apply it to people on the left. You will see this. We will give you more examples. So this is Yoel Roth saying, thank you. I agree with the recommendation, meaning labeling this tweet, bring it up there, Square Bear. Flagging right now with leadership given it's President of the United States. Can we use a new doc per public interest interstitial for review? And here's what a Twitter executive said about labeling this tweet. Hey, very well done on speed, folks. What this is all designed for, and a huge win for the platform.
Oh, boy. Wow. Basically, we have a bias, and we want to do something. Is there any policy that we have that we could possibly come up with that makes it make sense?
Yeah.
No.
We're just following the policies.
Nope. And by the way, for someone to win, that means someone has to lose.
Yeah.
Correct.
Who loses? It's not Donald Trump. Huge win for the platform. It's a loss for you.
Yeah.
They win, you lose. That's the issue here. They can only win if you lose. And by you, I mean the American people. I mean not just conservatives. I mean anyone who isn't full-on left, Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, LGBTQ, AAIP abomination. That whole thing. You all lose. That's their win. Let's compare this to something that's a direct apples to apples for leftists on Twitter.
You're left.
There we go. Good. I'm always, because I'm looking at the monitor. It's reversed. I know right from left, and some people are still going to say, "That's not your. This is my right. It's your left." So, this was a tweet from a former AG and photo negative of Ned Flanders, Eric Holder, and it was labeled. It was labeled at first, but then the label was removed by Yoel Roth. I believe labeled. Can you guys let me know? Make sure I want to get this right. Misinformation, misleading information, because I don't want to be fact-checked on that and get it wrong. Some of them are misinformation. Some of them are labeled misleading information. This was labeled initially, then they changed it. This was his tweet. It's too late to use the mails. Given the Supreme Court rulings, I urge everyone to now vote in person. Early vote or use drop boxes. This is Eric Holder. Protect your health, but don't let the court and the deliberately crippled Postal Service deprive you of your most precious civil right. He said that. Donald Trump, again, for comparison, said big problems and discrepancies with mail-in ballots. He said, Eric Holder, deliberately crippled Postal Service. We say that here on YouTube. We've been removed, suspended for less. That's applying intent. Donald Trump just said, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Too many discrepancies. We have to have this count. He was saying deliberately crippled. Remember, that's what they were trying to tell you before the election. Just like they were trying to tell you that there wouldn't be a vaccine before the election and not to trust it, that they wouldn't take it. Former Vice President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, before the election, don't trust a vaccine if it comes out during Donald Trump. Now they take credit for it. This is a direct apples-to-apples comparison. And then it was labeled. Then they pulled it back for Eric Holder. Here's what Roth said regarding the tweet. Everything in it is factually accurate. Here's the thing. I agree. So did President Donald Trump. You're not free if you live in a country with laws, whether the law is applied equally. If the IRS can select people's lives to destroy based on political persuasion, guess what? You're no longer a free country. That's how every single corrupt government gets a foothold. Now we have a few tech oligarchs who are more powerful than the government. Sitting president, slap him with everything we've got.
Yeah.
Exact same statement. Everything in it is factually accurate, said Twitter.
Yeah. Well, and everybody that's come out in support of these guys, too, we talked about this a minute ago, they were creating their own policies. They're saying, well, they're trying in real time to figure out the best way to handle this information and just enforce the company's policies. And you guys are coming down. No, that's direct bias. They're just trying to make sure that Donald Trump is silenced. His tweets flagged means they're not going to show up in people's feeds as often. They're not going to show up promoted. They're not going to be pushed out to the public like they would otherwise. And so most people won't get to see that information, right?
Right.
That's all you need. You don't need to actually ban somebody from Twitter. You don't need to actually kick somebody's tweet off so nobody can see it anymore. You just need to make them think that, yes, my information is getting out.
It's the lies by omission.
Reaching people.
And because who could possibly have imagined that Donald Trump took a liking to Twitter?
Yeah.
Right.
So they
they're
thought, hey,
trying in real time to take down a sitting president, and
Yes.
they're trying in real time
Enforcing
to make
their
up
bias.
excuses.
they did. Hey, you know what? I'll just use the language so that YouTube doesn't suspend me or Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll use Eric Holder's language. They deliberately took down a sitting president.
Oh, weird.
They deliberately crippled a sitting president's amplification and reach to the American people who elected him.
Ridiculous.
Spot on.
Boy, is he skilled.
He is.
Okay.
Welcome back.
And hit the like button right now if you can. Share, leave a comment, because guess what? This doesn't mean anything on YouTube. The algorithm says that we're dead. Check in. Of course, you get the Rumble button if you're watching on Rumble.
Speaking of limited...
well, hold on a second. Dave was about to say something.
No, but like regardless of really what your political stance are, stopping a sitting president from speaking to their people is one of the most immoral things I've ever heard of.
I agree.
Has anyone here said that former Vice President Joe Biden or President Kamala Harris needs to be removed?
Never once.
Never once.
Nope.
And by the way, we'll get to that later on.
I mean, his brain has, but other than that,
Right.
nobody here.
Right. I don't care if he mashes the keyboard.
No.
Leave it up for all to see. What? What were
Well,
we
you
about to
said
say?
YouTube, and I said, speaking of limited reach,
Yeah, exactly.
being flagged and being banned and being shadow banned, whatever the term.
Or just not monetized. Okay, all right,
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And then if you're not monetized, people won't see the content. Okay, and if people search your name, they'll just find people attacking you and people trying to rebut your segments but not find your original segments. You can type in the name of this show, the title, and not find it. And by the way, this application wasn't just limited to Donald Trump. Again, if it's a win for Twitter, you lose, which is why they also targeted other conservatives. So let's give you another example with a conservative. I got the hand right this time.
There you go. Nice job.
So hard with the reversing image.
You got it, though.
Where should we mail the award?
I've
So-
never got it right once.
This is a tweet from Square Bear. What's the name of this Georgia representative?
This is looks to be Representative Jody Heiss.
Jody Heiss. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had that right. So Representative Jody Heiss.
It's a guy?
Allegedly.
was slapped with a label. And the label on this tweet was mail-in voting is safe. Okay. This is what this representative tweeted out. Say no to big tech censorship. Mailed ballots are more prone to fraud than in-person voting. That shouldn't be controversial. It's just common sense. Jeez. Twitter slapped it with a, quote, mail-in voting is safe. If it's so safe, then why have most of the countries in Europe not allowed it with very few exceptions? And the same thing in the United States. There's a process where you have to request it if you need to mail-in vote. Absentee. If mail-in voting is safe, then everyone would just do mail-in voting all the time. They would have always been doing that before the pandemic. There was a reason that they didn't. What's that reason? Again, this is not about what's true. It's about what is politically expedient, and they were working overtime to try and affect this election.
It would all be done online if it couldn't be manipulated.
Yeah, of course.
Well, and look, if they were looking for
a good point.
an opportunity to prove this point right or wrong, they would have just done some research that we brought up on mail-in voting, saying fraud does not have to exist for mail-in voting to be very, very fraught with problems. People not getting it done on time, things getting lost in the mail, which is exactly what Eric Holder was saying. The mail is crippled, so therefore it's not going to get there on time and your vote won't be counted. But here's what you have to do. All you have to do is go to a heavily R or D leaning place and either overcount that and say, yes, we're going to take this in the mail, or just, oops, trash, oops, trash, oops, trash. I know this is a heavy Republican area. I don't want Donald Trump to win. All I have to do is throw these things in the trash on accident. Whoops. It got lost in the mail.
Yep.
Sorry.
Not to mention the incompetence. I have next day shipped now for 2 weeks. 3 can openers, and one has yet to arrive.
Bezos. Or whoever else you might be using.
Yeah, he's a liar.
Why did I pay for next station? It's like $2.99 if you want to get it same day. Great. Sorry, it's been delayed. Well, you going to refund me?
Yeah, how about just get it to me?
I still don't have a can opener.
Really?
Yes, I do not. I should just go and buy a can opener.
No can opener, no
warm I've been using a Swiss Army knife. I swear to God, I've been using my Swiss Army knife can opener every day. And every time I feed Joe Louis, I've got to give him the pumpkin can or the sweet potato cans. And I look at it and I just get mad and I throw something in the kitchen like, where's my can? I've ordered 3.
We'll bring you a can opener today.
I've had the same issue with a double-sided can opener.
Yes.
And,
seems they're running short on those.
no, but everything I've ordered that doesn't come on time, it's like, well, it's coming from China. It's like, well, it still says Prime 2 days.
Yes.
So that should be 2 days.
I made sure my can opener was made in the States.
I know. I want American-made can openers.
Yes.
I've always said that. You know me.
Yes. So that I know it is homemade commie union crap.
Correct.
Dave, those days identify as weeks. I apologize.
Yes.
So 2 days is really 2 weeks.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So the point is, take the can opener times 3 orders. Still haven't received it. Only, that's your vote for the leader of the free world.
Yes, its pronouns are weeks, months.
Yes. Rain, sleet, or snow means we will not be there.
No, he'll be there. Sunshine, either.
Yes, if it's too hot.
Really, weather's not our thing.
Right. Yes. We like a very light, natural cloud canopy.
A little breezy, otherwise.
Otherwise, my hair frizzes.
Yeah, it does.
So Roth decided to apply a soft intervention to avoid, by the way, what was really just an optics backlash, where, again, this representative said mail-in voting is more prone to fraud. So Roth decided at Twitter, this is behind the scenes, said, I think going too far down the rabbit hole of labeling critical speech, i.e. critical of our handling of this case, is dangerous. It becomes a self-reinforcing wah-wah censorship cycle. So they just gave it a soft label saying, mail-in voting's perfect.
It was not controversial. It was a true statement.
This is like we had to change my mind when I said, anytime that governments have limited speech, it has ultimately led us down the path, or led these countries down the path to eliminating people's personal freedoms. He said, do you have a source in that? I said, okay, well, we can go through Maoist China, we can go through Russia, we can go through Nazi Germany, Venezuela, and do you have a source? I'm like, Cuba, and I keep going. He goes, do you have a source? Do you have a source? Are you claiming that I need to have a source, which we provide usually publicly here, references, to tell you that limiting freedom of speech can lead to the erosion of rights? And then he said that he supported it. And I said, okay, name me one place it's worked. I don't even need a source. Name me one. And he couldn't give you an answer. This is what they always do. So right here, they just say, mail-in voting's great. Where's your substantiation? They don't have to provide any. mRNA vaccine is tested. Well, now the former CEO of Pfizer who stepped down said, no. No.
Yeah.
But if they're not allowed a seat at the table, then they never have to provide you with any transparency or references. So let's compare that treatment of the Georgia representative to a leftist. This is another direct apples-to-apples comparison. This is Rick G. Grossner. This man describes himself as having the 3rd highest IQ in the world.
Oh, really?
If you describe yourself like that, you're a moron.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Hey,
I'm kind of retarded.
how else am I going to pick up the ladies?
Yes. I have the 3rd highest IQ in the world.
Okie dokie.
You know what a lady's going to say? Who's 2 and 1? Shit.
Oh.
Juggle. Yeah.
I don't know how.
You lose.
So his tweet wasn't labeled at all. This is a tweet from the 3rd highest IQ in the world. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, Rosner.
I hope it's misspelled.
He said, check with your local USPS folks to see how slow the mail is. Also find out when mail-in ballots arrive in your state. But mostly vote ASAP. Trump and his new Supreme Court will try to steal our votes, so our numbers have to be huge. Now, according to the Twitter executives, that tweet, in contrast to the Georgia representative who said mail-in voting is more likely to be prone to fraud, Twitter executives with this one said that it was understandable. Here's a quote. That's understandable. Believe that it's a reference to the United States Supreme Court decision on processing mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day. There's a lot to read in these Twitter files. What I wanted to do is pull out direct apples-to-apples comparisons so you can see when a conservative says it versus when a liberal says it. They have not been applied, these rules, equally. They are entirely arbitrary. Everything is opaque, and it's by design. And so when you see the left screeching, when you see them furious right now about the changes that Elon Musk is making, when you see the people walk from Twitter behind the scenes, they are walking because they are no longer allowed to apply these rules in a completely unequal fashion. That's what they've been used to. So, by the way, here's another example I think that's pretty important here. And you can go and read the whole files. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of pages if you read all of them. When Twitter decided to ban President Trump. The suspension declared after close review of recent tweets from the real Donald Trump account, and the context around them, specifically how they are being received and interpreted on and off Twitter. We have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of, quote, further incitement to violence. Now, keep in mind that this was the tweet. Do we have the tweet from Donald Trump? Yeah, let me read this right here. That caused the shitstorm. Incitement to violence. Go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever. He said, that's the ending, but he said, these are the things and events that happen when it, these are the things, sorry, you won't know if I don't. These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long, which we now know. Of course, badly and unfairly treated. You see it right now. Go home with love and peace. Like the alien from The Simpsons, Mr. Burns. Remember this day forever. Go home with love and peace. Twitter removed his account for, quote, further incitement of violence.
He's quoting Stalin.
Yes. Show me one example. Now, here's the thing. You can say there's an interpretation because he was saying the election was stolen, which, by the way, you've seen from Hillary Clinton. You've seen from Amy Klobuchar. This is something that has been said by people on the left, both preemptively and after the 2016 election, right, that it was stolen by the Russians. So if you want to consider that an incitement to violence, okay, I don't think you have a leg to stand on. Find me one example, Twitter, one example, one, of Donald Trump calling anyone to violence. Go. Because we can show you exactly where he called people to peace. Go home and love and peace. Remember this day forever. You may not like that he said the election was stolen. You may not like that he said mail-in voting is more prone to fraud. You liked it when people on the left said it. Find me one example ever of Donald Trump calling people to violence throughout his presidency. And don't do the stand by with the Proud Boys thing, which again is something taken out of context. Don't do the very fine people on both sides, because he said, I'm not talking about neo-Nazis who should be condemned totally. We've shown you that clip ad nauseum. I'm not going to show it to you today. Find me one example that is as clear as go home and love and peace. Find me the take to the streets in rage and war. Find me the equivalent to Kamala Harris discussing the rioters. They're not going to stop, and they shouldn't stop. Find me the equivalent from Donald Trump, if you're going to say incitement to violence. That is the yang to the yings. Go home in love and peace. That's why the man was removed.
Yeah.
The then sitting president.
I can't believe that was their justification for this. Again, looking for a reason to get rid of somebody and then hoping that your policies come up with a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all it was.
Well, and one person says this guy is going to steal the election, and the other one says we're worried that there could be some tampering with mail-in, and the one that you take it away from is the latter. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Well, it also broke, by the way, with Twitter's policy, their own policy in several ways. So let me give you an example. Twitter said that it didn't attempt to determine, quote, political interpretations of tweets. That's what they said. That was their policy.
Oh, that's a lie.
Yeah, they interpreted go home in love and peace as, oh, he's telling people to go get their mortars.
Yes. You know, riot.
Yes.
Love and peace.
Mostly peaceful riots.
Mostly love.
Mostly $2 billion in damages, peaceful riots. They also completely disregarded their public interest exceptions rule that here's, again, all the references will be made available at loudofcutter.com. Link in the description. I highly recommend you read all of this because we will never have enough time to get through all of it. This is their public interest exceptions rule. It says, at present, we limit exceptions to one critical type of public interest content, tweets from elected and government officials, given the significant public interest in knowing and being able to discuss their actions and statements. Another employee, by the way, was talking about this on an internal Slack channel, which is why we don't use Slack. Every time there's a dump or a hack, it's Slack.
Yeah.
Which they're like, well, you can't hack this. Like, what if I take a picture of my computer screen? Bow! I forgot Snapchat. I forgot about the picture phones.
What's really sad is it took a fairly moderate, richest man in the world for any of this information to even come out.
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, we wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
So Yoel Roth, by the way, was responding to an employee on the internal Slack channel. We'll talk about him tomorrow. This is what he said about Trump's account. In this specific case, we are changing our public interest approach for his account to say any violation would result in suspension.
Wow.
We aren't completely getting rid of the public interest approach. Again, we're not getting rid of it. Just in this specific case, we are changing our public interest approach to say that there was a violation. And the violation was what? Incitement to violence. The tweet that resulted in incitement to violence, go home and love and peace. Do you live in a free country? Do you live in a country with free and fair elections? If these people said, we are going to remove this sitting, we are going to remove this man. We are going to throttle his tweets. We're going to label them. We are going to eliminate the amplification. People won't be able to retweet. People won't be able to share. Leading into an election. And by the way, before you try and do the whole both sides bullshit, this is something important, which kind of shocked us.
Yeah.
Because we know that there are rhino wieners out there. I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. I don't do the whole, centrist. No, I'm a conservative. I'm not necessarily a Republican because I know a lot of Republicans and I don't like them. That being said, this is important to note. Taibbi, he wrote, examining the entire enforcement Slack channel, we didn't see one reference to moderation requests from the Trump campaign, the Trump White House, or Republicans in general. We looked. They may exist. We were told that they do. However, they were absent here. So think about that for a second. The fascist is the guy who is saying go home and love and peace and saying, hey, we need more transparency in our elections. This guy was the president of the United States. There wasn't a single request to remove or even censor or throttle any of his political opposition. So it's not just what you see. What does that tell you? It tells you two things. People on the right, we actually believe what we say we believe. We don't want censorship. We don't want people being removed. And it tells you that Donald Trump, just like us, this is why we say, fine, we don't care if we're monetized. We just want an equal playing field. When it's an equal playing field, the ideas win. The best case scenario for Donald Trump was no one to be removed. And for people to be able to do what we're doing right now, contrasting the left and the right and coming to the truth. That's what it tells you. The confidence is what matters there because they know that their ideas stand on their own. The left has no... Now you see with this administration, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, they require the elimination of voices of opposition. We talk about Arizona. Katie Hobbs just didn't debate Kari Lake. One person says, let's debate. And by the way, this isn't some anonymous Twitter person. I get it. You can't debate everybody. Mike Tyson doesn't fight the Golden Gloves runner-up from Missouri. I understand that. These are two people neck and neck running for governor of Arizona. Kari Lake, Katie Hobbs. One's the Secretary of State who determines the protocols for the election. No debate. I don't want to give a platform to, let's just call it hate. Donald Trump was itching to debate. That guy lived for it. Never once said silence political opposition. The left, do it all the time. Not one example. That is very telling. When people say both sides are the same, they are not the same.
Well,
they are not even remotely
Just remember everything that was being said about Donald Trump that was factually inaccurate, too. If anybody had a claim to say, hey, you have to take this kind of stuff down because that's not true, rewind the tape 12 seconds, 15 seconds. You see I'm saying not neo-Nazis, and yet every single newsroom in the world is running find people on both sides that I'm supporting white supremacists, right? He had every Russia collusion, right? Spying on his campaign. He had every right to reach out to these companies and say, hey, take this stuff down.
Right.
Right? The election, every right to take this stuff down. And he did none of it.
Yeah. Think about that where he says, go home and love and peace.
Yeah.
And they go, this is hate speech. This is incitement to violence. Removed.
Yeah.
Well, it's so badly, too, that they want to prevent more of it.
Right. Exactly. They want to prevent more of it. Meanwhile, no one from that camp, no one from that White House, as far as we know, and certainly not to the same degree, but right now, not one. I know you're thinking, hey, some? No, none. Not one request during that point while they were being beaten, while they were being kicked in the nuts. That tells you something pretty important. It's the same reason that we do things like Change My Minds. It's the same reason that we provide all references. We believe in more transparency. We believe sunlight is the best disinfectant. The left believes that you can't handle speech that may be challenging to you, so let's just label it all hate speech. Let's just label everything that we...
The hell?
What is that? Oh, no.
Oh.
What is that?
It's a beer.
we have to be through this again, Tim?
Jeez.
You said you were stopping. You weren't going to drink anymore.
I know. I'm sorry. I forgot to brush my teeth this morning, and I just didn't want to have like the morning breath.
So you decided to wash it out with beer?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it has
Anyone follow the logic?
Well, it's so-called alcoholism.
Yes, that's called alcoholism. If you actually want to brush your teeth, you can use this. They've been a sponsor of the show. Spry gum.
Spry?
Yeah, have you used it?
I haven't. Is it
Here,
good?
hold on. So let me throw you.
Throw it my way.
Oh, wait. Hold on. The pack just.
Got it.
All right. Got it?
Yep.
Good news is I have another one right here.
Magic.
If you guys don't, Spry is a gum out there. I think actually, what's her name? Dr. Rhonda Patrick talked about it on Joe Rogan. They use xylitol. It's just go to Spry. You can go check it out. Is it spry.com? You can buy it on Amazon. You can go and see the actual benefits. Clinical trials regarding chewing with Spry gum. Poor oral hygiene, by the way, is linked to things like diabetes, oral cancer, Alzheimer's. Chewing this gum, it actually. I have never had a cavity in my adult life.
What?
And I had a small one because of my wisdom teeth. Right? They were like, that's going to grow.
Yeah.
This is totally anecdotal, but you can actually check the peer-reviewed research on their website. It's never grown. The dentist is like, I've never seen anything. How is this not grown? And I'm like, I don't know. But I said, could it be this? And he said, it could be.
Big Dental. They're lying to you.
Well, I think my dentist is a drunk as well.
I think it's my dad.
Your dentist, is Casey.
Yes. Yeah, chewing between brushing. This is actually
stuff.
It's fantastic stuff. They're a wonderful sponsor to the show. I use it. They do the same thing with clear nasal spray.
Yeah.
Xylitol gum. Go on YouTube and type in Dr. Rhonda, I think Patrick on Joe Rogan. She just talked about xylitol gum and the benefits therein. And anytime there's something that can help you, hey, that is actually proven by science, not the science, but science, I recommend it. But Yakuza, we really need to solve the severe problem with alcoholism. Hit the like and share button and let me know. Comment below if there's some info that you think we should get into a little bit more from the Twitter files, or you think that we missed something. But we're going to fix Casey's alcoholism, and by that I mean fire him.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And then play Hate Symbol or Not on Mug Club. Thank you, Rumble, YouTube. Piss off.